It's Tia. It's been a Mississippi minute, but we bite, baby.
What's up, Pynk Posse? It's your girl, Josh, and yup, we back at it like a crack addict.
It's your girl, Jiggy, a.k.a. Tanika. Listen, pull up on us. It's time to cut up, because we back.
What's up, Pynk Posse? It's your girl, Kogi, and we're back. Pynk Sunday Radio.
Hey, Miss Monroe.
Hi.
Hello.
Listen, Nineveh was busy. Nineveh was trying to just, I'm just sitting here waiting.
We were waiting for you. We was getting everything together for y'all.
Yes, I was rewatching the episode and some more stuff, and I just discovered something that I didn't even notice the first time, but we're going to talk about it, I'm going to say.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We are definitely going to talk about it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want y'all to introduce yourselves to our Pynk Sunday Radio audience, because, you know, we broadcast everywhere. So I'll start with you, Toni. Let the audience know who you are, what you're about, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Toni Bryce. I play the character of Nineveh in PValley. I am from St. Louis. I'm a college graduate. I've been acting since high school. Theater, musical theater was my first love. And I've been here in Atlanta now for like 7 years. And, you know, just trying to manifest the dream. And what else? You know, I'm a ballroom legend and mother and all of that good stuff.
What about you, Miss Monroe?
My name is Monroe Alise. I am an actress as well. I've been acting for a very long time, pursuing the entertainment industry, I'll say. I am based in Washington, D.C. for now, born and raised in Washington, D.C. And the playground is where I did spend most of my day. I am pursuing music as well. I'm a jacktress of all trades. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess for me, my first question, definitely PValley question real quick. So, you know, with PValley is set in Chucalissa. PValley is set in Chucalissa, which has a specific accent. And I know for you, Toni, you're saying theater and acting. Same thing with you, Monroe. Did you have to do any preparations, or did you rely on just your God-gifted talents? Like, what was that like? Because I know Katora, she is very specific with her language.
I remember when I first auditioned in 2018, I auditioned for the role of Uncle Clifford first. And that's the role I auditioned for. And I remember when Patrick Ian Polk, who is an executive producer of the show for season 1 and 2, he emailed me directly, and he sent me the sides, and he told me, this is the accent, and we want you to like look up these people. And one of the people I remember very clear was K. Michelle. And I said, oh, I love K. Michelle. And so I was just like getting into her accent. So thankfully, I'm from St. Louis. So the accent from Memphis to St. Louis to, I'll say Memphis from St. Louis, because the references were all from Memphis, right? And I guess because in that Delta area, maybe the accents are the same between, you know, Memphis and that part of Mississippi. I know accents can vary depending on what part of the state you're in. But I was like, okay, so it's not crazy different from St. Louis with the here, with the her, the, you know, that kind of talk. But I had to like put myself back into that, because when you're away from, you know, the culture and communities you grew up in, you kind of get away from it, especially in the acting world. Like, it comes out of me naturally, but sometimes in the acting world, you know, they don't want you to be in your original dialect and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So it was a few things I definitely had to, like, I had to work on as far as the accent, but some of it just kind of came natural because I'm from St. Louis, and the accent is not crazy different.
For me, You know, there's an old Southern woman sitting in the back of this throat somewhere, child, and I don't know where, you know, it came from. My mom and them still trying to figure it out, you know. I don't know where it came from either. But no, to answer your question, there wasn't any dialect training for me. They didn't even give me any references. What I do know is that, you know, while we were on set, they did have, you know, a dialect coach there, and someone that could or would give suggestions if need be. But no, I didn't have any training in reference to the dialect or the slang. I did have to get reminded sometimes. That one time in reference to using proper English, because, you know, there's an old English woman in the back of my head, too, sometimes. So, yeah.
I know for me, just like a quick example, it was season 1, right? And in the jail scene, I have to yell out, Jesse, Jesse. But in my natural dialect, I'm saying Jesse. But in Chuckalisa, you got to say Jesse, Jesse. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't say it like that. Or like when they say man, that's not normal for me. We don't say man. We say man. You know, so it's certain little nuances like that that we have to pick up on and make sure we're hitting. Mm-hmm. And some of it is just kind of, like I said, the hard dar, that's very much the same in that area from St. Louis to Memphis. But some of them, I have to add into my vocabulary because it's not something I would naturally say.
So how did you two end up getting your roles? Because I know that both of you talked about manifesting it. I've heard a little bit of your story, Toni, about how you were extra first season, and then you had a kind of interaction with Katori in the hallway where she told you, we're going to beef it up a little bit next season. So how did you guys actually end up on P-Valley?
Well, I couldn't have been here if it was not for the Toni Bryce and her work on season 1. It wouldn't even
Here she go, y'all. Here she go.
I'll let her go ahead. And tell her story first, and then I'll come in with mine right on out. So go on, sister.
This lady right here, y'all. Okay. So, you know, the long story short, like I said earlier, I did audition for the role of Uncle Clifford first, and I got to audition in front of Katori and Patrick in person here in Atlanta, Georgia for my callback. And, of course, obviously, I didn't get it. And, baby, nobody could do Uncle Clifford like Nico, period. So that role was definitely made, created, and designed for Nico. But what happened was in 2019, I had stopped doing background work in 2018. But in 2019, I found myself doing it a few times because it was close around my house. I was like, oh, child, it's close. I'll do it. So on one of the sets, they were like, oh, yeah, you know, we did background for P-Valley. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I auditioned for that, but I don't really know all of what the show entails. And so I said, let me do some background so I can go see what's going on this show that I didn't get casted on. And I went and I did background work for episode 4 in season 1. It was the scene where Mercedes was doing her last dance. And we were in the bar area. And I was kind of like in the back because I was like, I don't want to be on screen because I'm really just here just to, you know, scope out the scene and see what's going on. And that's when I seen Katori on set over by the bar. And I had to give myself some confidence to be like, child, I'm finna talk to her. She know me. I'm finna talk to her. And so I did. I approached her. I was like, hey, Katori. And, you know, to my surprise, she was like, I've been thinking about you, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I got to get you on the show. Now, I didn't think when she said I got to get you on the show, it was going to be the next episode. I thought like, oh, okay, maybe season 2. You know, child, the script already written for this whole season, so maybe season 2. But literally got an email for that next episode. I did background in May, and like the first week of June, I was on set as Nineveh. So it's just, you know, how my pastor back in the day, and I'm not a religious person anymore, but my pastor back in the day used to say, you know, favor ain't fair, but it's necessary. And I'm just thankful for favor.
Come on, sister.
I love that.
And for me, you know, to reiterate what I said in the beginning, you know, if it had not been for these, I'm being real dramatic. I usually be this dramatic on Sunday, so don't you just bear with me. If it had not been for the Toni Bryce, honey, who paved the way for the world.
Here she goes.
On the you know, I got to give flowers where flowers is due. No, truthfully, when I first started, I had just literally started investing in my career, in my acting, when PValley first started to promote for its first season. And as I stated, I've been, pursuing the industry for a long time. But as far as investing in my career, I started doing that very shortly. And that means, taking acting classes and really honing in on, being better at what I said I want to do, And I saw the first commercial, and I was like, oh, child, let me see what this is about now. I see people twirling on the ceilings and things, and, that ain't my ministry, but I was like, let me just see what it's about. And I watched the first episode and was completely hooked. And I had just started doing comedic relief, like self-help videos on social media daily in reference to, just being able to identify the things on the inside and, helping you out. And then I was like, oh, I got to do episode reviews of this because this right here is amazing. And I said I will be on the second season of PValley. And so I just started watching it and started tagging the actors. And next thing I knew, this woman named Katori started following me, and this was before she got her blue check. And then as the season kept unfolding, I had started watching the credits, and I started seeing interviews, and people kept saying, like, this amazing woman Katori, this amazing woman. I was like, who is this Katori? And I was like, oh, that's the lady that followed me. And I went back and saw she had a blue check, and then she had won an award. And I had messaged her, and I said, congratulations on the award. I'm an actress, and if there's anything that I can do, to audition for, a role, please let me know. And she responded and was like, I'll circle back. I didn't believe that it would be soon. It wasn't the next episode because, they had already finished the season. However, she literally circled back 3 months later and was like, hey, girlie, what's your information? And I missed the day that she sent it. And so 2 days later, I got a message from Patrick, and he was like, what's your agent's information so we can get you to audition for this role on PValley? And I auditioned, and here I am today.
Monroe, was the role that you auditioned for the role that you ended up playing as Uncle Clifford's best friend?
Yes. Yeah, now let me tell y'all, to my ignorance, right? So when I got the audition, I thought that the sides, so I kept screaming that this was created for me. Like, this was just created for me, that the universe sent this my way, and I manifest. And then when I got the audition, the character's name was Monroe. And I was like, oh, they did this because they want to make sure that if they leak out, they know exactly who sent it out. So I thought they changed every character. I thought they changed the name to the person they send it to. That's just what in my mind. I thought that they changed the name like this so they know that when they do that for everybody. I didn't know that was going to be the name that they were going to use for the. So when I got it, and I was like, okay, well, cool. What's the character's name? And they was like, my mom. I was like, stop it. I'm like, well, shut your mouth and keep on talking. All right.
So, can y'all just tell, I don't think we've asked anyone this before, but can y'all tell us a little bit about the audition process? Like, what goes on in that? How was that for y'all?
Oh, okay. I know mine was probably different. Toni, you said you had an in-person one. Mine was virtual.
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Right.
Yeah, mine was in COVID, yeah.
Prior to COVID, self-tapes have always been around, but prior to COVID, it was very much so in-person auditions. Generally when a role is out there, you submit for it, and what they'll do if they like what they see based on your reel and headshots and resume, they'll say, we want to see this person's tape. They'll send you the tape, and then they'll have you audition, or not the tape, they'll send you the sides and they'll have you audition, and then if you get a call back, they'll usually bring you in. Or sometimes the audition is in person, and if you do a call back, you're coming back in person. But this is, of course, all pre-COVID. So for me, I actually, a lot of actors would know this, but we have this website called Actors Access, breakdown services, and all of the shows post on breakdown services. But not every role an actor can go on there and see themselves. Some of that is only seen by agents. So a lot of times the agents can only submit us and we can't submit ourselves, right? Now for this one, this role, when I first auditioned, it was put in a Facebook group. The audition was put in a Facebook group. And the lady that cast me in my first ever web series here in Atlanta, she sent it to me. She was like, you should audition for this. I was like, well, what's this? And so I literally just emailed all of my material. And that's when Patrick emailed me back directly. But then when it came up on Actors Access, I then also submitted on Actors Access. I said, well, baby, I'm going to cover my bases. And I submitted via the email. That's when Patrick emailed me back. And then I had to tape myself, send that in, and then they wanted me to come in and audition in person. So it was a self-tape. The first step was a self-tape, and then the second step was to audition in front of Katori and Patrick in person. And when I say the most nerve-wracking thing, everybody outside waiting to go in, and it was nerve-wracking, but I think I feel that I gave it my all, and I feel like they seen the talent, and thus I'm back, and she eventually brought me in. So that was my process.
Yeah. For me, so like I said, Katori messaged me first and asked for the information, and I wasn't able to. I responded, but she didn't respond. And then Patrick messaged me and asked me for my email, and I sent him the email, and then I got a email from the casting agent, and they gave me the sides, and I had to self-tape, and I sent it over, and I had to wait. And that was the longest wait of my life. That was the longest 7 days. It was the longest 7 days. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, and that was that. And I got the call back. Yep, and that was that.
Were you ladies always a fan of Patrick M. Polk's work? Because I hear a lot of you. I hear both of you talking about Patrick and how much he looked out for you and really put effort into, hey, audition, this the email. So, because he's had a lot of impact, I know, for the LGBT community, a lot of impact in our lives. So,
I've always been a fan of Patrick's, especially Noah's Ark. Oh, Lord have mercy. When I tell you that saved and changed my life over and over again. Yeah, I watched Noah's Ark this season. I still do to this day, and the movie.
We do too.
Yep.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm new to Noah's Ark, and I'm hooked. Like,
girl,
I've been watching TV for years.
Welcome.
Like, I was totally like a hermit, and now I'm just like, where has this been all my life?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely watched Noah's Ark growing up. I definitely watched the movie as well. And The Skinny as well, and Blackbird were two other movies that I watched and I was like, oh my God, I like
they were really good
content, because it's like, we feel, for Black people, we still live in a time and day of the first, right? And so shout out to Patrick for being the legend that he is and being the first of a few things to do things like Noah's Ark. Because a lot of us needed that. And I'm just very happy that we're in this time and place as well, that while they've created and opened doors for, Black and brown gay men, probably more specifically at the time, I'm glad that they're also in this space to create opportunities for Black and brown women of trans experience and trans and masculine as well. Yes. Because although we were always around, it was never really about us. It was never really focused on us. So, but it took for the Noah Arks, it took for the Skinnies, it took for those things to be put out there and created to open those doors to where we can get to this place now. And thankfully, those same people, again, like Patrick, are still here present day, still creating and opening doors for, othered and marginalized people. So, and communities. So I'm really grateful for Patrick. Every time I get to thank him and Katori, it's like it's never enough thank yous for me, because it's just not.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
I'd like to piggyback off of that question. So speaking of people of trans experience, always being present but not always being represented, one of the things that you speak a lot about, Toni, is being the first person, and I'm going to try to do this right, the explanation right, the first person of trans experience, or the first black woman of trans experience to have a speaking role in a Marvel film. And you mentioned how it's not, or a Marvel show, so it's not being widely talked about. It's not being widely as celebrated as it should be. So what do you think that we as supporters, what can we do? What do you think is the thing that needs to be done? Because at the end of the day, trans visibility is very important right now with the way that, legislations and things are being made and laws are coming up that are trying to block and hinder the advancements for people of trans experience. So, what can supporters do? What do you think how do we get this common knowledge? It should be celebrated as other first, like you mentioned.
I feel like in Black families we have this thing where when, particularly with the art, because they don't know, they watch TV, they watch movies, but they don't know the correct terminology, right? So they don't understand co-starring, guest starring, recurring, series regular. They don't understand all of that kind of language, right? So they're going to say, oh, did you have a big role or a little role? And in She-Hulk, which is a show, so what you were saying, I am the first Black woman of trans experience to have a speaking role in the Marvel Studios project, period. And there was 2 other trans folks before me. One was a Jewish person, and then the other was an Indian American woman of trans experience. He was in Spider-Man Far From Home, and she was in the Netflix Marvel Jessica Jones. I think it was Jessica Jones. I think
yeah.
So now that Marvel is under Marvel Studios now, because it's a breakdown to all of that stuff and how that's done. Spider-Man was under Sony. That was under Marvel. Jessica Jones was under Marvel Television. But now everything is under Marvel Studios. So as Marvel Studios, that is correct. But the thing about it, and why I mentioned the little roles versus big role, my role in She-Hulk, I didn't have a character name. I was bathroom girl number 3. And if you didn't know who I am present day, you probably didn't necessarily, quote unquote, clock that I was a person of trans experience, right? So a lot of people probably just went about, they seen the scene and went about their day and didn't really pay too much attention to it. But at the same time, I didn't even know. I'm just, the same casting directors for PValley, for me at least, were the same casting directors who sent me that role, and I auditioned and I got it. And so I'm just grateful, thankful for the journey as an actor, working, all of that good stuff. It was actually another trans person by the name, her name is Dominique Morgan, and she told me. And so that's when I went to do the research, because I didn't even know myself. But I feel like the industry has this thing, if you don't have a name, if the role is not big enough, they're not going to shed light. And so once I got the knowledge, I was like, well, I'm going to have to, if don't nobody do it, I'm going to have to do it for myself. And so I did it for myself. And a lot of people aren't saying, even other trans people, I don't see the big name girls with the blue check mark sharing it and saying congratulations. Some of them, yes. But a lot of the other ones, no. They're not saying those things. They're not sharing it. And I feel like for them, it gives, we need whoever the person is, they need to have a character name and they need to have a bigger role. And then maybe that'll make sense. Because I'm sure when that day and age comes, and it's somebody else that's in a role that's Black and that's trans, baby, the blogs and the news are going to go crazy. And I'm like, well, I was here, but y'all didn't see me. And so sometimes it's hard to be seen in this world, period. But even sometimes in your own community when you're doing things and, low-key, opening doors and people don't even realize it. So somebody else is going to get the credit that I know that I deserve. And it is what it is. It's a part of the journey. But I know the truth, and I'm going to document it. When nobody else is going to document it, I'm going to do that work for me. And I appreciate people like my sister, Monroe Alise, that's going to be along with me to affirm, yeah, girl, she was the first one, okay?
And was, and is.
And so, yeah, I think sometimes it just takes, you know, sharing. Like, social media is golden these days, so share things. Magazines but can reach out and put it in official articles to where when I was Googling, I couldn't find that information. I'm like, was there a trans person? I was Googling first trans person in Marvel, trans Marvel. I was Googling everything I could, y'all. And I cannot find anything because I refuse to put out any false information to have me looking crazy, okay?
Right.
And so that needs to happen, too. Like, one of these days, you know, maybe when I have an interview, it'll probably take season 3 of PValley when somebody cares enough to say, oh, let's interview her. She's in the show. They finally see me this season, hopefully. You know, I'm just hypothetically speaking. And then I'll be able to put that information again out there for myself because if I'm not going to advocate for myself, who else is going to do it for me? So it just takes a collaborative effort of community sharing and spreading the word and doing that. But, you know, sometimes people are not going to do it. And I'm not bitter. I'm not mad about it. But I am going to speak on my behalf, and I'm definitely going to honor my accomplishments when maybe other people won't see it. So
speaking of being women of trans experience, when did you ladies know, when did you get that first inkling that how you presented to the world was different from how you wanted to present to the world?
For me, it was very, very young. You know, gender roles were assigned in my house at a very young age. I have an older brother and a younger brother, biologically, who I grew up with. And so, you know, as the middle child, the black sheep, the knee baby, all those beautiful, elaborate names to express us, I was that person. And so, you know, in kindergarten, you know, we all used the same bathroom in my household. You know, it didn't matter what you identified as you go in there and wash your hands before you come out. And when I got to school, I didn't know that there was a difference until me and one of my friends, she and I were playing, and it was bathroom time, and I walked in the bathroom with her. And they was like, you don't go in there, you go in here. The first time that it clicked that the things that were being said about the way that I was talking or the way that I was walking or, you know, all of those things that people were identifying were wrong, quote unquote, with me, it made sense because I didn't know that. And that's when I knew that I was different.
So for me, I'm going to break a few things down for the people that's listening, because sometimes the people need to be broken down. Before I give my explanation.
Break it down. Please break it down, baby.
This is not, nobody has said this, so I'm not coming for or at anybody specifically. I'm just speaking in general, right? But when we realize, being young, right, because as we see in the news, you know, all kind of states, even Georgia, just signed a bill and the trans youth cannot medically transition, right? And so what people need to understand is that this is not just a physical thing. This is a spiritual journey, a very much a spiritual journey. What people also have to understand is that gender is policed from the fucking womb. I am so sorry. Can I cuss?
Yep.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because when I get passionate, I cuss. I just want to put that out there.
Listen, now I'm glad.
You say a lot of stuff on the show. Go for it.
When I get passionate, I cuss. But gender is policed from the fucking womb. Before the fucking ultrasound can even be seen of what the sex assignment is given, is it a boy or a girl? Before the sex assignment, sometimes they don't even want to know, baby showers are being thrown with colors blue and pink, right? So we don't even get to get a chance to explore who we are because we're being assigned before we even come out the fucking vaginal canal or through the stomach if it's through C-section. We don't even get that opportunity. Not y'all, but the world has made up in their mind that if you are assigned male, you are a boy and you're going to wear blue. If you are assigned female, you are a girl and you're going to wear pink. So we don't get the chance to explore who we are because the world has already made that decision for us. And when we come and we start to learn ourselves at these early ages that people think is impossible for us to know, people think it's just a phase, they'll grow out of it. we already know what it gives because it's a spiritual journey. And no, it didn't mean that we had to be touched. No, it didn't mean we had to be playing in football and realize it wasn't for me. Or I like to play with Barbie dolls, or I like to be in makeup. What? No. None of that determines anything. As a kid, I always say kids, to me, sometimes don't need the label. They don't need any of that. All they need is the freedom to express who they are and how they feel. But we don't get that freedom because, again, gender is policed from the womb. So we don't get that freedom. So I say all of that to say when somebody is telling people that we know from an early age, trust and believe we know because it's spiritual. Y'all know when y'all spirit ain't right. Or not ain't right. I ain't going to say that it's not right. But y'all know when something in y'all spirit is not sitting right with you to where you're like, nah, there's something different about this or something. This ain't it. It's a spiritual journey. And I don't know how really else to say it. My divine feminine was placed in this male-assigned body, and I have to go on the journey to make that outside match that inner spiritual side. And that is the journey. And it's unfortunate, like I said, that we see what we're seeing in the present day, but trust and believe there will come a time where all these old-ass people with all these backwards, old, raggedy, nasty thinking mentalities will be out of office, and we'll see a day where it's a more inclusive environment. Unfortunately, we have to go through this. Black people have been through it. We know the journey. We know the history. And so it is what it is, but baby, we're going to be who we are, period. And no matter what age, if it's 5, if it's 14, 15, 17, if it's fucking 95, we're going to know, and we're going to become who we are because it's a spiritual journey.
So, Toni, you talked about you started acting all the way back into high school. And Monroe, I know you could sing. I was going to say a little bit, but you can sing a lot of it and kind of came in entertainment doing that and then made a choice at a different point to go into some other parts of the entertainment industry. So when did you both know that you had the acting bug?
Well, for me, technically, when I was in middle school, I played Santa Claus. Baby, I was Santa Claus in elementary, okay? And then it wasn't until I got to high school. I knew that, like, the performing arts, more specifically, were in me. When I was younger, I used to want to be a singer, actually. And I used to want to be a singer. I used to write songs. I used to write short stories. So writing.
Don't let her lie to you. She can sing.
So writing has always been a part of, like, my childhood. And when it was in high school, it was just something in me, like, you got to be in the performing arts. Like, you have to. And my school at the time didn't offer anything performance-wise. And so when I transferred to my the second high school I went to for my last 2 years, they had a theater department. And actually my first show in 2007 was A Christmas Carol, and I wasn't even acting in it. I was a dramaturg, which was a person that did the marketing and created a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, preparing for the show. So I was a dramaturg, and I was doing that aspect, and that was kind of me working my way into it. And then maybe from there I did all kind of Metamorphoses, Jesus Christ Superstar, Pacific Overtures, and Pacific Overtures was the first. And I know people are like, what is that? It's Japanese kabuki theater, but that was the first show where I actually sang. And I was like, girl, hold on there. And then it wasn't until college where I joined the Missouri State Gospel Choir, and, you know, we toured around a few cities, and we would just sing, we would do concerts, and that was a part of me too. And I was just like, okay, it's performing arts. Like, I know for sure my purpose in life, what I'm here to do, is rooted in performing arts, for sure.
And for me, so I've been singing since I bust up out the womb, and that is actually my first love. You know, I just really started being honest and telling people about that because, you know, I'm Erykah Badu when it comes to my singing. I'm real sensitive about my shit, honey. And so, you know, I had my first singing. You know, I sang in the choir, sang in church, sang all around. You know, my brother. You know how when you do something so much, your family get used to it, and then it don't seem like a thing. It just seems like something that irritates them. you know, and so I would always sing around the house. I would just sing, and they didn't seem fazed or affected by it. You know, they wasn't like, damn, you out here singing, unless my brother was trying to, you know, impress a girl, and they'd be like, come on and sing to her, you know, something like that. But no, and so one day my mom had asked me, do I want to get into singing lessons, and I was like, yeah, and then I joined it, but it was during my streets time, and so when the streets had called me, I had to put down the singing. And when I got into my teens, I started pursuing music professionally, and then I had what I like to call the Kelly Price experience. You know, they wanted to just use my vocals and not my appearance. And so they wanted me to sing about sex, drugs, and guns and making money and sleeping with women. And none of those things were my experience. You know, they were my boyfriend's experience at the time, but they weren't my experience. And so when I got that first hurt, I was like, well, now what am I going to do? And so I got an audition for a pilot show, and that was it for me. I got it. I got on set, and I'm going to date myself here, too. Here in D.C., I'm right next door to New York, and this is before Backstage, not to be confused with Backpage, came around. And, you know, Backstage is something like, you know, Actors Access, where, you know, you know, you got to get, and so they do, you know, auditions and stuff, too. But they used to only be in the paper. And so I would have to catch the train from D.C. to New York to get the paper from the Hudson newsstand and then circle, like, the auditions and things like that. And so I had the opportunity to go to, like, 106 and Park and Rip the Runway and all of those things. And, and that was really, like, my first, like, oh, yeah, I need a little piece of this.
Okay, so ladies, we asked a couple of family members to give us a couple of questions in the DM. So we have Jontisha, and she has a question for you both. So I'm going to play that right now. Okay?
Okay.
I just have a question for Toni. I wanted to ask her, how does she feel to be the first trans actress in the MCU history? And also, does she think that by them doing that, will it pave the way for other franchises to hire other transgender actresses and actors?
Oh, good question.
So how do I feel? You know, basically taking back to earlier, I can't make how I feel about me feeling unseen. So I'm going to choose to feel very proud and accomplished with that, because that is history. And whether it's, you know, acknowledged on a bigger scale or not, I still did that. And so I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to be happy that I was able to be that, and that, you know, God and the universe aligned that opportunity for me to do that. So yeah, I'm going to choose that versus any other feeling that I may have about that. I'm going to choose that because one thing I did learn from season 1 of PValley, and I got this from my sister Ashton Grooms, who played Dior on Star back in the day, if anybody remembers Star. She told me, you know, we put the art out there, and it's up to the people to consume it and interpret it how they see it. And because we can't always be in control, right? And so I can't be in control of I can't be in control of how people receive me, you know, making history or making such a big accomplishment. And that's fine with me. So I'm going to choose happiness, and I'm going to choose to be grateful. And as far as will it open other opportunities, I definitely, because they've already been there, I think, of course. I absolutely think, of course. But I think what I would love to see, and specifically in the Marvel universe, is us become a hero, a mutant, or, you know, a villain.
Yeah.
I want to see one of us in those kind of roles, because shout out to DC, you know, DC Universe has already done it. They've been there. They've been done it. And Marvel has but we haven't been in those kind of roles. You know, we played the secretary to the hero. We played the classroom friend to the hero, but we were not the hero. So I'm hoping and praying that there will come a day when they'll do that. So I would hope so. I would absolutely hope so. And if I have something to do with part of it, then I'm grateful for that.
100%. And just real briefly, before I play the next one by family member Josh, I am a huge fan of Orphan Black. And so Tatiana Maslany and you together, I was like, oh, my God, was she as lovely as she sings? Like, is she as lovely as she sings?
She was really cool, actually. She was really nice. She was really sweet. And we were talking about, she was so intrigued about ballroom, too. Like, so I was teaching her about ballroom stuff. And she's very aware of the trans community. You know, she's wore the shirt, protect trans kids, all of that. So I love when people use their celebrity and platform to advocate. So, yeah, she was really sweet.
For sure. Okay. So we're going to go to friend and member Josh. Okay.
Hey, Toni. Hey, Monroe. Hey. What about to say? Okay, so my first question was, how did y'all both get into acting? Because I wanted to get into acting when I get out of school. So I wanted to know how did y'all get into acting, and what made y'all land these roles on PValley? And Toni and Monroe, y'all are both beautiful women, and it was nice talking to everybody. And I need to hear Monroe say that's your son 5 times next season, so I can crack up.
Screaming.
Now, we've already kind of asked this question, but I think kind of a great kind of addendum to Josh's question would be, if you were starting today and wanted to break into acting, what would you do if you were that person trying to figure it out?
Let me say this. Everybody wants to be on TV, right? Everybody wants to be on TV. But somewhere. So where do you start? You start with your local independent industry. Look at those local films. Some of them and most of them will not be paying you. And guess what? You have to chunk it up as a investment in your career to build your reel, to build your acting experience, to get connections to other people, to other creators within the industry, so you can have more opportunities to build your network. So you have to do that work. Everybody not going to be on. If you come to anybody that's come to my DM saying, Toni, I want to be an actor, where do I start? I always give them advice. I never not give them advice. But if you think you're going to be on TV tomorrow, don't lie to yourself like that. Do not play yourself like that, because even the people that don't have a history in being in the art, they've been influencers, and they've been on some kind of platform where somebody saw them. So you have to build that brand. To build the platform. And how do you do that? My best advice is start locally, start in the indie film. If you have to, because it doesn't come natural, or if you just still want to work on the muscle, get in the acting class. Build that network. Absolutely build that network. Because that's where I got my start. Well, my start was in theater. So even if you have local theater, get in local theater. If you're still in high school right now and you have a theater program, get in your theater program.
Yep.
That was such good advice, Toni. And I'll just piggyback off of that too. It's just start. Do it scared. Do it afraid. Start. For me, it was something that came so natural to me because I'm such a movie and TV buff. And even, as I shared earlier, I've been wanting to be an actress in entertainment since I was a little girl, but I only started investing in my career about 4 or 5 years ago, and I mean acting classes and making sacrifices and doing the necessary things to invest. I would say start planting those seeds in yourself. You know what I'm saying? I was the girl that was like, I ain't paying that money for no acting class, but we'll go buy some Gucci shoes. I ain't paying that to do this and then do the exact opposite for something that wasn't going to be instrumental in my life. And so making those sacrifices, we always say you reap what you sow. And so you have to sow those seeds in yourself so that you can reap the harvest later. And so to Toni's point, look and see who's looking for actors for web series or, theater or anything locally in your community, because that's where you'll get that practice. So even if you get an audition for something for TV today or tomorrow, because, favor ain't fair. So whatever your journey is, but you'll at least have the practice and the experience of knowing the language on set or how things operate. And so just throwing yourself in it and doing it scared.
So my question to you, Toni and Monroe, because I know, Monroe, you was on the live telling the people that they need to, watch 204 and all that kind of stuff, because that's what we watched last night and Zoo. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering if y'all have a little time to kind of go over a few little things that happened on the episode. I didn't know if y'all were going to do that. Okay.
And I'm here for it. I told you I'm a fan first.
Okay.
I'm a fan first.
Okay.
So listen.
Well, I didn't know if you want to kind of do a little something. So for us, we have a little outline and all that kind of stuff, but we can kind of poke around a little bit. I think for me, I want to know what y'all think about Miss Lauren Hawkins, who be driving down from the little rich town and coming down to the Pynk, going down to the Pynk. And now she got her little mask on, and we got Bubba Gut sneezing, Toya,
screaming,
Bubba Gut
screaming,
Bubba Gut sneezing, Toy.
With Lauren, so in season 1, y'all remember Lauren was in season 1 on episode 5, and we were in the jail cell together. And her real name is Dana, but she was so cool. She sings. That scene was staying alive in the moment. Come on. And she was just really dope. She was really, really dope. She was really cool. And she's on a lot of things too. Like, the lady has a nice career for herself.
She's good.
And what I would say, I didn't know when I found out she was coming back. I was like, okay, so how? Just like me, where we were both in a jail cell, blah, 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 like, how are we going to come back? What are we going to be doing? And so when I learned that she was coming back as a health inspector, I just thought that was hilarious, because clearly after that scene, I clocked her, and I'm like, nah, baby, that's the girl that was in the 205 that she cheated on her husband. And so just to have that history as characters, and then to know that we both came back, me as the house mother and her as the health inspector, I just really thought that was dope, because I didn't know how they were going to bring us back. And, of course, in true fashion, she coming back in the pink, baby, spend her money. First time because she was, going through sorrow. This time, she was just in her best life. She had already got a piece before.
Absolutely. And for me, I thought it was absolutely hilarious, because what I didn't realize until this moment is same thing, like it's breaking down those. Katoria's just so, girl, I just love her, because it's breaking down that DL, like the man running to go get his fix and then going back home. Here it is, a woman, a well-established, well-to-do woman is coming in, looking at that ass shake and enjoying this woman do all these things. And then, boom, here it is. And then to even know, like, she's a shame and guilt that was eating her up or sleeping with her husband's mother. Because, people, they talk about the men sleeping with the wives, the husbands, and, all that thing. Like, to just really shed light on the opposite side of it. I was like, that is everything. I thought that was so funny.
That scene here, because I was like, she went from dancer to dancer to dancer. She had whisper at the stage. Then she had, who was it, peanut butter thing in the middle thing. And I was like, how did she end up with Toy? What happened? She went through like 4 dancers and spent like some guap on each one. I said, well, okay then, Lauren Hawkins.
Baby, and then took the mask off because she was enjoying it, honey. She said she needed to smell that ass in person. I couldn't do it through the mask no more. I had to smell that ass in person.
Oh my God, she really, really did. So Toni, I have to that locker room, that dressing room scene, honey. it has so much going on. Like, I mean, Cliff with the Corona Couture, this Birkin bag, Lauren Hawkins, but see, your character, Nineveh, calling her out that y'all was in the jail cell, because I'm going to be guarded. Like, everything, the fighting, how chaotic was that scene to shoot? Like, everything was crazy.
You know, so mind you, watching it again today, I realized that really Uncle Clifford and Nineveh kind of low-key, we didn't save the day, but we saved us some coins. Because she was talking about how much, $25K, and when we called her out, she brought it down to, what was it, 10 or 11K, I believe.
11K,
and so
yeah.
11K. I thought that was really funny because you watch the stuff, but you don't see all the like small nuances. I was like, oh wait, baby, we saved us some coin. Nineveh and Uncle Clifford to the rescue. So she clocked her from the club, and I clocked her from the jail cell. But when it came down to the actual fight scene, it was just so interesting to see that in person, to like see the stunt doubles in person. And I remember when there's a point when Uncle Clifford gets pushed, right? And she kind of flies into
She cannot fight, child. She cannot fight.
Like, no, push me. Nico's like, no, push me. I want to be pushed. And when I say Nico got pushed, Nico bumped into me. We literally over there by the locker about to fall and have to really catch our balance, because that's how much stuff was going on. Brazil in the floor, bleeding, crying. I'm having to run over there to console her. They got the phones out. It was a lot going on, but it was a lot of chaos in the best way. It was so fun to shoot, and of course the moments. This ain't the Real Housewives, the Chuckalisa. It's just so much that be going on, but it's so fun to shoot. It's so fun to shoot, and I'll be the first to admit, I don't know where my mind was, but I didn't catch that Roulette was out here pimping the girls originally. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. So when she said the customer with the DSL, I was like, oh, okay. And of course, when we get to that final scene, I'm like, oh, girl, wait, this may happen. Because, we don't get the episodes that we're not in. So I don't know what's happening in those episodes. So I only get what's in my episode. But even from that episode, I should have realized, but I don't know where my mind was. I just did not realize that was happening. So her being called out about that, and which, sparked the whole fight, was just like, wait, how did I not catch that originally in the table read or just read over it? It was just so much you catch when you watch it back, and you really be gagging. Well, I know I do.
No, I do too.
Right.
Toni having some inside, and her having some inside privilege when we were doing our episode reviews, which you all are definitely getting an invitation to definitely come on. She was in a lot of she was in a lot of those episodes and still didn't, divulge any of that information to me. So I'm still, green to a lot of it. And even knowing, like, being present for the season finale, like, we still didn't know what they were. Like, we were asking questions like, so how they going to wrap this around? Because that don't make sense. And we were still trying to figure it out and had no idea.
Oh, my God. Girl.
So when y'all do, like, the table reads, are you only at the table read for, like, a scene that you're in? Are you not privileged to, like, what the other scenes are during the table read?
No, we go through the whole from top to bottom.
Okay.
Yeah,
like the whole episode?
The whole episode. Whatever episode you're in, you get the whole script for that whole episode. And we do the table read from the top to the bottom of the episode. I think, though, sometimes in those spaces you get you're listening and you're going along, but I think you're anticipating for your parts to come up. Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay, baby, I got to give it my all. I got to sell it. So you're present, but sometimes you're not fully present, if that makes sense. Yep. Because you're preparing yourself for your turn to come up. You're like, baby, I know Katori on here, Patrick on here, execs on here. I want to make sure that when Nineveh comes up, baby, I'm giving her what needs to be given and making sure that...
I was never present for a table read, so I don't know, because I'm nosy like that. So I'd have been all up in there and would have missed my part being nosy like that. See, that's why they knew not to invite me. because I would have tried to figure it out. So they knew I didn't get that. I didn't get that invite. But yeah, I can see how that could happen. When you're a veteran, you know what I'm saying. When you leave Toni Bryce, you get invited into them spaces and places.
So what's the difference? Why would you have some have table read and some don't? Is it just because of how the scenes work out? Is it harder to do it one way or another?
Well, for me, I think it's because. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
No, go ahead. You go.
No, I was going to just say I think that I think it depends on production or the availability of the actors for that scene. With my scene. I think that they probably didn't deem it necessary to have me on there with just those few lines and our pivotal scene, because what I do know is that we did get a chance to rehearse our scene when we had our scene read in reference to, before actually filming it. But I guess it just wasn't necessary for me to be there. Tony, go ahead and give some politically correct answer.
Honestly, I don't know the answer as to why. Because even with She-Hulk, for example, I didn't do a table read either. I showed up on set and, just had to know my lines. I think, obviously, when you're a series regular or you're a recurring co-star or you're a recurring guest star, you get to have those moments. I'm trying to recall season 1. Was I on that table read? I don't even remember in season 1 if I was on the. I think I was, but I honestly I can't remember. So, I don't know why they make those those choices, but I honestly don't even have an answer for y'all. I don't even know.
It's a production's rescue in a sense. Like, I don't think that it was something that was done maliciously or facetiously. I think that it was just something that either one could have been just an oversight, or two, because I know with episodics, they really still kind of edit the script as they go along for the sake of time to see what may be needed, what might not be needed, or things like that. Because there was a lot of things that there were a lot of lines that Monroe, the character, had that didn't make it into the episode for the sake of time, I'm assuming. So that's, I guess, kind of was the thing, too.
And do you think COVID played into that, too, just not wanting as many bodies in the space?
No, it was all via Zoom.
Yeah, it was Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how was
filming
in COVID? Because everything in the second season, was it like, what was it? What
Awful.
Was it like?
Awful.
It was horrible. It was hard. If they tell me about that 6 feet from the next person, yes. 6 feet. Where's your mask? I'm eating soup. How many you want me to put it up and down? I'm going. Every spoon I take, you want me to pull the mask up and down. Like, calm down, people.
No, we absolutely respect our COVID teams 100%. And actually, our one of the people on our Anais, on the COVID team, I worked with her before in the indie production, but we absolutely respect them because they know they're trying to keep us safe. They're trying to keep all of us safe, and we absolutely get it. However, when you have all this fucking makeup and you have to keep taking on and off these masks, the makeup artists have to keep touching up stuff. You got your makeup is coming off because of the mask. That was a couple things where I know that I had parts of my makeup that was like removed because of the mask, and we still had to roll. And so they couldn't come in for last look because it was like, okay, y'all, we going straight into a roll. All right, give me your mask. And then they run off. And it's like, well, damn, I ain't even got time to like really touch up my makeup. Like, I don't know what my lips look like. So those masks were absolutely positively terrorizing, and I hated them. However, we respect 1,000% them in trying to keep us safe because, baby, one person get COVID. Imagine if our main character gets COVID. We all had production stopped, right? So we get it. But it's just terrorizing as hell. It's terrorizing as hell. But we respect it, and we're going to do what we got to do with this show film. And we're going to be a team.
Absolutely. And to add to what Toni was saying, they were not only respectful and sweet in doing so. You know, we knew that there was a bigger purpose in why they were doing it. And so, yes, they were completely sweet about it, you know. And they did keep us safe in that time. They did keep us safe in that time, even though everyone was tested and, you know, all of the things. But just making sure that there were no mishaps or anything like that, because we were filming outside and it was still cold and it was still, you know, cold and flu season and, you know, all of those things. And so, you know, I thank them for their diligence and making sure that they were making sure that we were being mindful and reminding us 100%. To do those things. So, you know, shout out to them for their due diligence.
100%. Okay, so let's kind of, because, you know, we up for time, but I do want to get you ladies' opinion on the whole Coach Farrah Mercedes dynamic, the whole sponsorship, because, you know, Mercedes, she a little dry with the funds right now. Okay, so this is when that desperation kicks in, you know, losing the Chim. So we have Farrah, you know, there's a little traction there now. What are y'all thoughts on that? Because at first she wasn't supposed to be a part of that situation. It was kind of like, here go the contract to sign and the DNA. I mean, the NDA. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the NDA.
I got you, girl.
Yeah, girl, listen, I was on that scientific I was talking about right now. But, yeah, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so then she inserted herself, and now we got a whole different dynamic. Did y'all feel any chemistry? Tell me y'all opinions. Come on. I need y'all opinions on this.
Well, I'm going to say this. When getting the bag is the foundation, don't fuck up the foundation. Don't go catching feelings. Go in and get your bag and stay with the bag. Don't go catching feelings, because we're in the business of sex work, right? Portraying these characters.
Right.
It's all sex work. Okay. It's all money. It's all business. Keep it in. And I think that's what happens a lot of times, even mainstream, when you have these people sleeping with somebody's husband. Let's not get it twisted. I ain't saying it's right. However, people do it for free. So if you're going to pay for my silence, I'm going to keep the bag. And that's just that on that. Yeah. So Sadie should have continued to get to the bag, and she should have never allowed whatever Farrah was feeling or whatever to influence the way she felt. And now they doing stuff on their own. Now he's feeling away. Now the whole bag has been fumbled. Now, in her situation, she ended up coming out, you know, with possibly a bigger bag because of residuals and all of that kind of stuff, right? But the bag is the foundation. Don't fumble the bag because you want to catch feelings. Don't fumble the bag. Shout out to all the sex workers in the world out here getting the bag and not fumbling the bag because they want to catch feelings for a client. We're not doing that.
Well,
but do you think they were feeling fair?
What, her and Farrah?
Sorry.
I think for me, you know, I think that, you know, as a former, you know, I've had many former lives, and, you know, one of them being a person who partakes in sex work. You know, I think that it's just like having any work relationship, work friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be a coworker that you enjoy going to lunch with, or maybe even talk to once or twice when you're not at work, and then there's going to be the ones that it's strictly business. And I think with the natural order of things, sometimes it can just happen to blindside you. And I think what I saw Mercedes trying to do to the best of her ability is hold on to the little integrity or the little bit of, you know, conscience that she had left in reference to, you know, why she was doing what she was doing. And, you know, and I think that was the way Katori humanized her in those moments. You know, one, by making sure she left when her daughter called. Two, by making sure she kept the focal point. And three, I think that there was feelings there. I think that there was more so a relatability in them in a sisterhood, quote unquote, kind of way, more than I want you to be my woman. I think that there was just this innate womanhood, this sensual, nurturing, wanting each other to be free in their authenticity in a way that may have had, came by way of, a sexual encounter, but they were pouring into each other. Like one of my favorite quotes from the entire season, like she said, what if I fall? She said, but what if you fly? Mm-hmm. And that just stuck with me. It talks about the fear of failure turning into the fear of success. Like what if? We can what if all day, but we'll never know unless you try. And that's what, for me, I took away the most in that thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had a little, little one night extravaganza on the back end. She got her coins, and a word.
And to be clear, too, I want to say not feelings as in to what Monroe was just saying, like, I wanted her to be my woman. But anytime you on a pole and you allow this lady to take pictures of you when you've signed the NDA, you're breaching the contract. Anytime you're doing stuff exclusively with her, who's not in the room, you're breaching the contract. And you're feeling something that's allowing you to pay in those actions. Baby, if the contract ain't say do that, we ain't doing it. Don't fumble the bag. Yeah. Some kind of feeling for somebody, whether that's romantic true. Or not. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm coming from in my comment.
No, that's true, because I don't work for free. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't going to be I'm going popping up at my job. I'm popping up here and putting 8 hours for free because I like you. No. That ain't how that works.
Okay. No, ma'am. I know that's real. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, listen, y'all already know what it's going to be right now, right? Murder Antique, and, there's so much darkness around Pete, somebody who has been in prison for so long. His family darkness is past, and them like Murder and him discussed later on about carving out that little light and love that they had for each other. And then you have Murder, who has been getting these postcards, sending them back to Cliff, and the way, kind of like I say, a love language, right? So give us y'all thoughts on that before we do our little lightning round with y'all. Come on, hit me with your feelings.
Well,
go ahead, Toni.
You go first.
Okay.
They are, baby.
And please don't spare the punches.
So much
Keep it real.
So first of all, let me just say how much I love y'all and love what you do, because I never paid that much attention to the postcard to see that it was the jukebox that was in the office. Like, I don't know who caught that, but that was so phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal, honey. Yes,
Thank you for that.
And what I will say is that I so thoroughly enjoyed seeing them in that vulnerability, right? Because what I know to be true is, even if the men that have been incarcerated and have had these secret relationships and have secretly fell in love with their counterparts, they've never been able to sit across from them and have those moments, no matter how much they dreamed or wished about them. You know what I'm saying? And to watch this show that they probably hate and talk about and cuss and fuss about, but to see it, I'm sure freed something in their mind to be able to really have that moment. And I think it's just so beautiful to really witness reality on TV. Pete suffered from so much mental health and mental wellness things before he got incarcerated, before he turned to the life of streets. And so to find that sunlight and hold it so close, like, I don't know if y'all ever loved something or someone so much than it, and just being around them or being around it or even doing it, it frees you up from the sickness and the darkness of the world or anything that you're experiencing, and it's your peace in a chaotic moment, and to see that and to know that they were that for each other, and that it was just it's a lot, and then going into the knowing what the other episodes entail, and that whole, it's just like
So for me, I just feel like Pete has never been loved. He don't know what love is, and I'm not even convinced that they love each other, or even understand understand how they feel about each other because they were both in a place where they basically relied on each other to feel something. In a place where there's nothing to feel, let's feel something for each other and let's get by. And I don't know if it gave, this was just temporary in the moment to get by, and that's what it was. But then again, y'all do that, y'all feel what y'all feel, and then one leaves and one is still left. So now you're still left by yourself, feeling probably abandoned, unloved, unseen, unheard, as you were in that closet.
All over again.
Yeah, all over again. And so in this particular episode, before they get to that heated moment, he's talking about, you know, the world don't want a dumb nigga, big nigga, this nigga, successful nigga, that nigga. Like, he's already feeling like he's not wanted here. He's not wanted here. And I feel like, I don't know that he felt that maybe Lil Murda loved him. I don't know that part, but I do feel like maybe he felt seen by him. And
I think he knew he loved him, though. I think he knew he loved him, but I think that he knew that they couldn't be with each other in that way, especially knowing he moved on.
See, but I'm not convinced, and maybe that's just me. I'm not convinced.
No, absolutely.
I don't know that he had the capacity to love because I don't think he's ever been loved to know what that even looks like. And so, from the childhood to now, and so I feel like maybe he feels good around him. He feels assured. He feels seen. He feels heard because of their history. But I don't know, because even if he did fall in love, that love wasn't enough to save him.
Yeah, that's true, because he said that he had somebody else. Like, what do you do? What do you do when the thing that you can't even put a name to that you had with someone else now says that they're sharing that with someone else?
But I don't know if it was about somebody else.
So that's triple abandonment.
And he was away for so long that when he came out, he didn't even know how to pump gas. He didn't even know how to put a credit card in the machine to pump gas. So as they said, the world kept moving, and he was still in the same space. He was stuck in that space. What was it, September 24th of 1990? I can't remember the date. And
or something.
I love that I love what they were able to, I love that they had that history, and I love how it played out because one found some freedom-ish, because Lil Murda he wasn't always free. I think he set himself free by the end of the episode. And I think they both had two journeys of what freedom looked like, and I think Peak's only way was to be out. Like, that was his light was to find his darkness in the body of it all. And lights out for him. The lights out for him meant he found his lightness. And like I said, I don't know that I was convinced that he even knew what love was because of all of the traumas he faced. But I appreciate the journey that they were able to share together. And I do hope he felt seen and heard by Lil Murda, even valued. And I think Lil Murda tried to show him that when he got out with the buying him of the car, getting him a job, always keeping him around, always thinking about him whenever it was time to go on tour, bringing him back on tour, for security. But, when you're going through stuff and you're suffering mentally, none of that is ever going to be enough. And the people that are trying to give these opportunities, they don't understand that because they're not going through what you're going through. And it was unfortunate that baby, we boo-hooed. We boo-hooed over that. Oh,
yes, we did.
Oh, man, we all cried. We all cried.
So, did y'all want to see a love triangle fight showdown? I'm sorry. We both think a lot of the family wanted there to be a showdown between Teak and Uncle Clifford or something like that. Were you all hoping for that as well, or?
No, I was hoping that they wouldn't, because I think that would have definitely played into the messiness in which they believe that the community can already be, and I think that would have changed the dynamic of the. It would have took the attention off of the love story taking place. I fully
agree.
But also, y'all,
thank you.
To everybody that watched, what everybody has to understand too is Uncle Clifford, she didn't even know how to receive love. She didn't even know how to receive him. She was used to having one experience, and that experience was pushing people away. She stayed pushing that man away. So you think she about to fight over a man she pushing away? She can feel how she feels, but she's not about to fight over pushing away. Because the guy,
but she...
If she knew about
she only started pushing him away when he rejected her.
I feel like she was always pushing him away, Monroe. I feel like it was a push and pull. It was like, I want to give into this, but then I'm scared. But you got Murda, who he ain't taking no for an answer at any point in the process. So it was like, you know, just tell me, like, and that one thing when she said all the things that happened, and then she was like, at the river and the train truckers and all that, and he was like, so tell me where you want to go. So, like, her saving grace in this is Murda is who he is, that even in his brokenness, he was like, no, but I want you, and I want to show you that, like, let me love you, because I feel like she was always pushing him away. And then finally, of course, we got the 5 months, but I definitely agree. If it would have been like, so I don't know what I'm going to do with my ex, and she'd have been like, well, all right, then, you guys go ahead and do that. It was nice meeting you, and it would have been that. She would not have fought for him. After everything that happened, it's like, okay, bruh, too much.
Yeah. And just really
I don't
quick background, because I know we cut on time, but in season 1, if y'all remember when Uncle Clifford goes to the check cashing place, I remember when I had to audition for that, and Katori specifically saying, in this scene, the Uncle Clifford that we all know and love in the Pynk has to be cut down, has to be broken down, because she's going out into the world where the world can't accept her and receive her like they can in the Pynk. So she can't be the Uncle Clifford that we know and love. And so she can't even go out in the world as herself. How's she going to go out in the world with somebody else? So that, I think that too is so many factors as to why she's pushing him away. It ain't even, the gag is, it ain't got nothing to do with him. It's everything. Everything.
Absolutely.
And that got to be broken down before she can even before people can really even understand why she's pushing him away. Because it ain't about him and him being DL. She used to a DL.
No.
She used to that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just want to put that out there. So she's been pushing him away from jump because it's about her.
So it's 3:35, but so what we're going to do, because we have a cute little lightning round for you, but we have a few friendly questions out of the chat that Tanika, we're going to let Tanika get that, and then we're going to do our lightning round. So go ahead, Tanika.
Okay. Well, first of all, the chat has been loving you guys. They've really had a good time with everything y'all said so far. They've been going up for everything y'all had to say. So I put something up on Instagram during the week to ask for questions, and I got a question from Miss Roxy D, and she wanted to know, between Nineveh and Monroe, who do y'all think is really closest to Uncle Clifford? Who's the real bestie?
This part was cut out to what my bro was saying earlier about she had lines that didn't make the scene. And we can reveal it. Who knows what'll happen, but they went to high school together.
Yeah.
And so they've been knowing each other longer than because in the world of acting, you do these backgrounds. You create the background for the character that has already been provided for you. And so we know that which was provided for us because it was in the script, that they had went to school together. And I didn't meet her until later in life. For my character, I didn't meet her until later in life. But Monroe's character, Monroe, she knew her from high school. She just don't live in the same town.
I think that I have. So the way, yes, I have me and Uncle Clifford. My character and Uncle Clifford went to high school together. In the character breakdown that I did, and I think that from what I broke down is that a lot of the traits and a lot of the qualities that Uncle Clifford has and possesses, they share. They're more alike than different, and so I think that Nineveh and Cliff met along the journey before she started actually running the club or in that process, but I think Monroe and Cliff, they go way back. So, yeah, as far as who's closer, though, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just like, in with real life, you have friends that you speak to when it comes to certain situations and spaces, and then you have certain friends you go out with, and, you know, all of those things. And so I don't think that there is a closeness, you know, meter, but I think that they both got stakes in the game when it comes to Uncle Clifford and her and her friendships with them.
So off of that question, Essence in the chat wants to know, so does that mean Monroe knows Corbin too? Because Cliff and Corbin were childhood school friends.
Well,
that's good.
Well,
we
shall see. Well,
oh, that's a good question then.
That's a great question. Who started the beating? Who started the beating?
We all know that Cliff is the dom and he's the sub. We already know this. I've already told y'all this. So.
Okay, was Monroe giving out beatings too, though?
You know, listen.
Oh, okay, tag team.
That is okay. It was
Where
a
there are
BOGO, honey.
2 or more in attendance,
BOGO
there I will be. I love that.
Okay. Yeah, it was a BOGO.
So, Quita in the chat wants to know, was it originally in the script to refer to Murda as Uncle Clifford's son, or was that improv?
Oh, no, that was in the script. That was in the script. It was in the script.
Does Katori allow improv around stuff like that?
I'm sure if it fits. I mean, Toni could probably answer that more than I could.
What I would say is we pretty much stick to our script, because what we also have to understand is, like, these people don't sit for months and months and write these stories for us to go and just say something completely different and do something completely different, right? So we absolutely honor the scripts and the stories that they want to be told. But are there times where things are improv? Absolutely. If there's an extra oomph or grump, or if you say maybe a word that's different, absolutely. For example, when Nineveh and Roulette in the bathroom doing coke, that wasn't written in the script. We decided in the moment, how do we establish trust? She's going to take a bump from your bag. That's how we establish trust, and that was done in the moment. So there's absolutely space for creative change, absolutely. But we absolutely honor, though, the script and what's been written.
Okay. The last question I have from the chat is from Kendra, and she just wants to know, what are some of y'all's favorite scenes from the show?
Oh,
wow.
When Uncle Clifford, well, baby, it's too many, to be clear.
It is a lot.
But one that immediately jumps out to me is when Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda is in the room and they're talking about passability politics. Oh, my God. That conversation.
Yes, that was a good one.
Oh, that conversation was amazing. And how
that conversation was really good.
As a man, but masculine presenting man who grew up in the hood, has to put on and keep on this persona to protect himself, so won't nobody see him in the way.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? Like Uncle Clifford, the world won't let. Well, he says to Uncle, I'm what the world won't let me be. And oh my God, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yes. Yes. One of my favorite things, of course, is, I think that was an episode, that was 209, I believe, or was that 209, or was that 210? When he said, because you don't worry, because you're not worried, because you don't believe that you're worthy. You said you keep trying to, but you keep pushing me away from you, because you don't believe that you're worthy of all this shit, all the plates of yams and all of this shit. And I was like, yes. Again, it's about her. It ain't about him. She's worthy. She got to do that unpacking work for herself. Yes. That's true. And another one that I think me and my Roka equally agree on is when Lil Murda goes to Uncle Clifford's door and he says, I am not okay. A black man and say, I am not okay. Oh, my God.
Listen.
When I tell you the way that we boo-hoo, honey. That car thing. Oh, and even when he took his life, like that hole in the car scene, and he was like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, I'm going to be right here. I'm just like, oh, my God. Like,
So, this season,
no, but
this season is
it's
absolutely
the fact that Murder was trying to do everything possible. We got kids.
Yeah.
We got babies to make. We got houses to build. We got it's
Yeah,
the fact
he
that
sure
he was
did.
just trying to do everything. Like at this
keep
point,
him alive.
I
Yeah.
don't tell to keep him alive, and it just
That was
he
it.
was like the light is gone. Like baby, when he told Pete that Cliff was an eclipse, girl, you
that
tell
was
somebody that's it, baby. An eclipse.
That's what I was saying,
girl.
That's what I was saying.
And that one little tear, that tear that rolled down Murder's cheek, and that little sigh when he knew he like had gave up, like he knew there was nothing he could say, and that tear rolled down. Woo!
Oh, girl, we were a mess, y'all. When I tell you, we were a mess. Oh, we were a mess. Oh.
This fucking
as we breathing and taking it all back in like this. We all just took it back in like.
We had to take a moment of silence. We like,
had to. Oh my God.
So thank y'all so much, chat, for giving us those questions. All right, so we got a lightning round. It's 2 rounds. Each of us have a this or that for you. So y'all ready? Both of y'all ready?
Yes, indeedy.
Well, hold on, let me ask this real quick. Do we don't get to explain? We just got to pick, right?
Yep. Just
okay. Baby, I get an explanation.
I mean,
yes, indeed. Me too.
Unless you like, I'm allergic. Well, last time,
okay.
girl, I was on that, that type of thing.
Okay. Okay.
So, Graham.
I'll start. All right, y'all. So we're talking vodka, Absolute or Grey Goose?
Neither. I don't think.
Ooh.
Well, that's the end of that round.
Eliminate the whole round.
Coffee. I'm a coffee girl in a coffee world, okay?
Okay, so if we said coffee or tea, which one?
There you go.
It'd be coffee for me all day.
Coffee for me.
Okay, so how y'all like that? Okay, so Starbucks or Keurig. How about that?
I'm making it. She a Dunkin' Donuts girl. I'm a 7-Eleven fresh brewed coffee girl.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Mons had that fresh 7-Eleven coffee in his live the other day, and quite a few people co-signed on it.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I like mine super sweet.
Yes, Toni like hers sweet. I like mine both.
Black or sweetened. So everybody, you like black coffee? Either one of you will drink black coffee?
I have drank black coffee. I have. Yeah, I have, but it has to be flavored. It has to be flavored coffee.
Get somebody else.
Well, I'm a flavored coffee. Well, I'm more of a water connoisseur. I'm just not really, but anyway. So, Fair or Essentia?
I'm green.
Girl.
I'm an alkaline. I'm alkaline. Yes, I'm an alkaline water girl.
Water.
So the second round, Pynk or Murder?
Don't be shady, boo. Take a tea. But hold on. Okay, let's cut down the volume, baby, because you getting a little bit fancy and a little bit shady. We got
company, y'all.
Hilarious.
Baby, the Mike A, Mike B, C, and D, baby, we be fighting over here, okay?
Hilarious.
Honey, the second round, we will start. Go ahead, Tia.
Pynk or Murder?
Murder. Now, if you'd have asked me that question 10 years ago, it would have been Pynk. But it's Murder today.
I have to say Murder as well because I want to see where this relationship blossoms.
Now, did you mean that like with me with them, like me with them, or me or them for Like, what you mean? Like, did you mean like
what,
pick
who
one as
do you
in
like better?
who
like,
would I
if
date?
it was you,
who would I like?
who would you of those characters, Secret Murder? What would you like?
Yeah, it would definitely be Murder for me, babe. It's gonna have to be Lamarcus.
Lamarcus. Big Murder.
My mother said Lamarcus,
Murder.
darling.
Yes. It's gonna be Big Murder for me, honey.
Okay, so main or diamond?
Ooh, be a fence all around me every day. Hyundai, okay, because you did say the character and not the person, so I can answer this question without my homegirl getting because I love Miracle. Shout out to my sis Miracle Girl, but the character. It was, I don't know. Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one. You'd have asked me about this 10 years ago. It would have been mine. But I'm going to have to go with Diamond today.
It's 15 years ago for me. I would have to say Diamond.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say Rome or Wody.
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 Rome is manipulating and conniving and all of that. Baby. We don't want that in our life.
Oh, that's why you said it. Oh, okay, because it was different for me, but I'm going to keep on moving. Moving on.
That is a very win.
We're talking about the characters.
What was the character that you told him, girl?
Yes. That's
what is it what you be seeing on that Instagram when he be in the garden?
I'm just talking about the characters.
She got time. Yeah.
See, she always be trying to get me in trouble. I'm talking about the character.
Well, listen, people know what they be doing when they do it.
And do.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
And it works. And it works.
Not it works. At all.
It works. And it works.
Okay, so Big L or Duffy?
Duffy.
Oh, that was quick.
A little quicker than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Now listen, y'all. Now listen to the people out in the world. We are people and we have eyes. These people are married and got girlfriends or whatever for a reason. Because they're very beautiful, attractive people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talked about that, Duffy is a gorgeous man, and I've met him. He's really nice too. So he's really nice.
Me too. Sweet as pie.
The man behind
Big L. Dominant.
Right. So yeah, and then, but for me, honestly, I'm making my decisions based on the characters because of how they've interacted with the characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm basing my decisions. Yeah, what she said, I second that.
Me and Tanika been said Duffy fine. The rest of the family be on some other stuff, but we been said Duffy fine.
Big L fine.
Give him 2 years.
Don't do Big L.
Give him 2 years.
So
I think
unlike
PValley has done a good job of having all the men, for the most part, just be eye candy.
Absolutely.
Baby,
so
black
we
is beautiful.
So closing out, we talked to you ladies about your past, but let us know, all the family, over the next 5 years, where is Toni going to be? Where is Monroe going to be? Because unlike other updates accounts, we'll be able to say you heard it here first.
So within the next 5 years, one of my biggest goals, honestly, y'all, is to become. I want my series regular. The way my career has went, literally everything I've asked for, I have got in the order that I wrote it down and that I asked for. After I got my co-star, I said I want to speak. I didn't even know all of the terms at the time in TV world and what they meant. So my speaking role on TV was my co-star in season 1 of PValley. My recurring was my recurring co-star in season 2 of PValley. Next up, is it going to be my recurring guest star or is it going to be my series regular? We shall know when we know it. But in the next 5 years, I absolutely want my series regular, and more specifically in a TV show, because as I like to break it down, there's more visibility every week, for an hour, every season.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for me, 5 years, my goodness, what a difference just a little bit of time making. So 5 years, 365 times 5, there's some not only amazing projects in my future that I'm manifesting, you know what I'm saying, but I too definitely see series, regular, recurring star role in a TV series. I want to do some movie as well. I want to be in a thriller. I want to be one of the stars of a thriller box office movie. So I definitely see me playing alongside as one of the recurring stars of a hit TV series that we can come back and talk about soon and very soon.
Yes.
Okay, so tell the people, first of all, thank you guys so much for coming and spending all of this time with us. We were not expecting this. Y'all have blessed us today. Tell the people where they can find each one of you on the socials.
You can find me on all social platforms as Toni, Toni, Bryce, Bryce.
And for me, you can find me on almost all social media at Monroe Alise, MonroeAlisep. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Monroe Alise.
And if you are attracted
or MonroeAlise.com.
And if you are attracted to me and you want to come to my DM, if you're DL, please stay out of my DM unless it's
yes.
Because I'm about to that.
She does not play them type of games. I do. Just make sure you add the dollar amount before you even say the first sentence. Just joking. I'm joking. I am joking. Just joking.
Oh, my God.
No, but, I forgot to say what I noticed. I'm sorry. Can I say this really, really briefly? So what I realized that I didn't realize is that Big L referenced having a daughter when he was talking to Roulette. He said, you remind me so much of my daughter. I said, wait. Now, because we didn't go in the backstory of Big L and, how Big L came to working for Uncle Clifford, as he does mention that, what I'm saying, he came and started working there when he got out of jail, but that's it. So now you got a family too. So I'm like, so that's gonna be cute.
So we got that theory. So we working on that. We working on that theory right now. So if you get on the socials and mix and rewatch with us every midnight on Saturday, Sunday, then we gonna get y'all in the know with that. Okay.
Okay, I'm living.
Okay, so get in the mix with that. But we want to thank y'all again for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate y'all for listening to the show. You can find us on Blog Talk Radio by using the link bit.ly/PynkSunday. For Apple Podcasts, go to PynkSundayRadio.com. Make sure after listening to the replay, you leave a 5-star rating in the review, as well as a subscribe. For Google Podcasts, go to PynkSundayRadio.com/Google Podcast, as well as Spotify at PynkSundayRadio.com/Spotify. Hope to see you at the next episode.